Dorian still affecting North Carolina at this hour. You are looking live at Frying Pan Tower off of Bald Head Island. Dorian is pulling away, but fierce winds are still whipping that flag on the tower.
Things are very different on Ocracoke Island. This is video we received from a viewer of storm surge flooding there. Our crews are on the coast getting a first look at the damage Dorian is leaving behind. But first, let's get right to meteorologist Carly Cassidy with the latest advisory. Carly?
Yeah, actually, really with Dorian, it did make landfall at Cape Hatteras this morning about 8:35. So that now is where we're starting to see some of that clearing. But this morning and even down to the south, really the outer banks, that has just been really hammered with a lot of that activity and the heavy torrential rainfall and those gusty winds. Now the eye of the storm has moved off towards the north and the east. Thankfully, has started to pick up a little bit as far as that speed, about 17 miles per hour. Yesterday, only moving at about 7. So we'll continue with that speed off to the northeast, about 60 miles away. But we can still see some of those outer rain bands, even off towards the north, still bringing in that heavier rainfall and also those very strong, even damaging winds. So that still continues into Nags Head, Elizabeth City, even further stretching off towards the north, where the storm will continue. So yes, we're thankful it's still moving away from us, but we still see into Virginia, also along the coastline, still those impacts as the storm does start to pull away and make its way out towards the north and the east through the open Atlantic. Now, as far as one thing that we are still keeping a close eye on, even down to the south, starting to see some clearing, thankfully. May have to be cleaning up a little bit as far as any of that damage, destruction done from Dorian the past couple of days, but Wilmington, even up towards Atlantic Beach, not seeing too much activity. One thing I do want to take a look at, though, that is the wave height, so how really big those waves are. Into the center of the storm, the eye, about 34 feet. Now you can see from south off towards the north, a big difference. As mentioned, the clear skies around Wilmington, dry. It's even a beautiful day. We're only seeing that wave height about 3 feet, but as you go Atlantic Beach towards Nags Head, still seen, and also possibly some of that storm surge with that wave height about 20 feet. So not done with this storm yet, not out of the woods, but we'll talk more about the track and also your forecast for back here at home coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Carly. Hurricane Dorian is pulling away from the Carolina coast, as she just mentioned, but it's still lashing the Outer Banks with a lot of wind and a lot of rain.
Steve King is live in Nags Head with a look at conditions there. Steve?
Yeah, well, you can just look at me to see what the conditions are like here in Nags Head. Terrible right now, and the wind is just picked up and picked up and picked up, resulting into what you see right here. Now, the wind is a really big issue here, obviously. It might blow me over. In fact, I'll be safe if that happens. And I haven't seen any flying debris, which is the reason why I'm standing out here in the wind right now. But you can see what the storm surge is doing. The beach is basically gone here in Nags Head. It'll come back when the water eventually recedes, but that storm surge they were saying was going to be 4 to 7 feet. Right now it's at every bit of at least at 7 feet as the water just continues to rise and rise and rise. Every once in a while the wind breaks, but then it comes back with a vengeance. And also right now we do have reports of flooding along Highway 12, not just at Cape Hatteras where the Hurricane Dorian made landfall, but also north, the northern part of Dare County. We are hearing that Highway 12 is also flooded. So we know that down in Ocracoke Island, down in Hyde County, we have those reports and we've seen those images of the flooding there, trapping people on the island. But we also know that now in the northern part of Dare County, Highway 12 is flooded over. So it just seems like this storm's impacts are starting to come to fruition. We do know that 911 obviously cannot respond to emergency calls right now. None of the emergency services can get out in this. We don't know about any damage reports just yet because, as you can see, the conditions are so bad there's no way for crews to be able to assess the damage at this time. At least 2,000 people here in Dare County, customers in Dare County without power. Actually, our hotel just lost power a little while ago, but the reason that we have generators, but the wind is so bad that the hotel staff can't get out to use the generators to bring the power back on. Photojournalist Rich Cisney, who's operating the camera right now, his air conditioning unit blew out of the wall of his hotel room, creating a very loud bang. Very scary situation for him. I didn't witness it, but I can tell you, very scary stuff here in Nags Head. We are going to send things back to you in the studio. I promise everyone back there I'm safe. Again, I haven't seen any flying debris. Just a lot of wind, and the rain has slowed down a bit, but we're going to send things back to you in the studio now.
All right, you be safe out there, Steve. Well, things are starting to return to normal in southeastern North Carolina.
Yeah, a much different story where Meredith Stepps is live in Wrightsville Beach with more. Meredith?
Oh, Kim, a very different view indeed than where Steve is in Nags Head. This is Wrightsville Beach. This is the view we have been waiting for all day. We have traded in our rain boots for bare feet. Take a look. This is the beach view at noon today. We even see some surfers out catching those waves. The wind's still pretty high here, but the rain is gone, and that Carolina blue sky, well, it is back as neighbors are breathing a sigh of relief after having been spared from a direct hit from Hurricane Dorian. Now take a look. This is the line that neighbors were waiting to get back on the island back this morning since that mandatory evacuation was put into place on Wednesday. Now today, police allowed residents with a pass access first this morning, then the public and business owners. Everyone we've talked to say that there is minimal damage, especially compared to Florence 1 year ago.
A huge sigh of relief. It was excruciating as the hurricane tracked this direction, and we feared the worst because we've been through it. This place has seen some, between Fran and of course Florence last year, we've had some major damage here.
And coming back here to a beautiful Wrightsville Beach at noon. Now we've seen people fishing on the pier. Again, you see those surfers catching those waves. We've seen people literally waving to each other, giving hugs, welcoming back comparatively so quickly than Hurricane Florence last year. I even saw one lady handing a plate of homemade goods to someone as a very happy and thankful welcome home. Reporting live on Wrightsville Beach, Meredith Stubbs, WXII 12 News.
That is quite a nice sight to see. Thank you, Meredith. Wilmington, of course, breathing a sigh of relief following Hurricane Dorian. It's been over a year since Hurricane Florence cut off that city from the rest of the state. It was a terrible mess.
New Hanover County officials are giving an update on the storm now. Let's listen in.
When the supply distribution locations are known, we will share that information with you on our updates on emergencynhc.com. I want to thank all of our citizens and let all of our citizens know that Hanover County is here to support you. We're here to help you. We're here to provide support and safety for you. And we'll continue to serve our residents 24/7. And our EOC, again, will remain open until further notice. At this time, the man who I call Superman, Stephen Steele, he is our Emergency Management Director. This man has done a tremendous job both in Hurricane Florence and now with Hurricane Dorian and keeping our community educated and up to date on issues. Stephen, the floor is now yours.
Thank you, Chairman. Just want to give you a few updates about Hurricane Dorian. Currently, Dorian is moving roughly 18 miles an hour to our northeast, right about the Virginia line, but it is up and moving out of our way and out of the area of New Hanover County and the city of Wilmington. Some of the points of measurement that we had for Dorian's effects: we did have gusts observed in the southern areas of New Hanover County up to 75 miles per hour over the evening hours. The rain amount so far have been 10 to 11 inches that were observed in Wilmington. We have yet to assess the extent of surge, but hope to start getting some of those collection points this morning as our beach communities are allowed to get back into the communities to make their assessments. We did have some minor overwash at the Cape Fear River at Wilmington, downtown Wilmington, late last night, very minor. We did reach moderate flood stage last night at 6.24 feet, but we do anticipate that to substantially decrease over the next couple tidal cycles and return back to normal. The chairman mentioned our restoration.
And if you would like to listen to the rest of this news conference, some New Hanover County officials, you can find it on WXII 12 News Facebook page. More video now of Dorian's damage in eastern North Carolina.
Yeah, we're really starting to see that. Bria Love is in the Breaking News Center with a look at the footage just coming in. Bria?
Yeah, Kim and Wanda, the southeastern part of the state dodged a huge bullet with Dorian barely a year after Hurricane Florence devastated the area. And a possible tornado spun up by the hurricane damaged homes in Oslo County. Part of the roof was torn off, while other debris was picked up and tossed by the intense winds. Heavy rain also caused a home to have some water damage. Fortunately, no one was hurt in this situation. And much of the city of New Bern is underwater this afternoon. This is video of the Trent River spilling out of its banks. Hurricane Dorian's winds are pushing water from the Pimlico Sound back up the river, causing this flooding. And once the storm passes by, the winds will shift in the other direction, sending all that water rushing back toward the Outer Banks. And the wild horses on the Outer Banks are riding out Hurricane Dorian hurricane right now. This is video of a herd moving to higher ground as Dorian pushes floodwaters onto the marsh. The Corolla Wild Horse Fund says that the animals huddle together under sturdy oak trees and ride out the storm together, much like they've done for more than 500 years. Well, as soon as we get new video from the eastern portion of our state, we'll bring that to you right here. Kim and Wanda, back to you.
Thank you, Bria. Governor Roy Cooper says that even though Hurricane Dorian is now pulling away, people should not let their guard down.
He and emergency managers updated the state response to the storm.
2 deaths in North Carolina have now been linked to Dorian, the latest in Pimlico County. Officials say a man pulling a boat out of the water had a heart attack and died. And a man in Columbus County also died preparing for Hurricane Dorian.
Thousands remain without power this afternoon. The governor says crews are working to restore electricity, and the number of outages is expected to drop. Nearly 70 roads in the eastern part of the state are impassable due to high water or storm damage, and 4,500 people are staying in emergency shelters.
And now to the Bahamas, where the death toll from Hurricane Dorian now stands at 30.
Now people whose homes and livelihoods were destroyed by this powerful storm are being flown out of the disaster zone.
People made their way to a small airport on the hard-hit Abaco Islands, hoping to get a seat on a plane to Nassau to stay with family or friends.
With little electricity, food, or water available, residents have little choice but to leave. But demand far exceeds the number of flights, and frustration, as you might imagine, is mounting.
They told us that the babies, the pregnant people, and the elderly people were supposed to be first preference. We still have babies here, we still have elderly people here, so they're not living up to their word.
The Bahamian Health Ministry says that helicopters and boats are on the way to help those people, but they warn of delays because of all of the damage.
Before and after satellite images reveal the extent of the damage Hurricane Dorian caused over the Bahamas, the powerful storm left a muddy, debris-laden landscape across Abaco and Grand Bahama Islands. Nearly half the homes on those 2 islands are damaged or destroyed. Officials say total insured and uninsured property losses could reach $7 billion.
And we will continue to bring you the latest on Hurricane Dorian on air all day today. But if you can't watch us live, we'll keep you updated on our free WXII 12 mobile app and online at WXII12.com.
Next on WXII 12 News, the backstory behind how this Jeep wound up on the sand in Myrtle Beach at the height of Hurricane Dorian's fury. As we have to break, a reminder that Rescan Day is today. WXII 12, MeTV Triad, the Triad CW, and Bounce TV are now on new frequencies. This is because of a mandate by the FCC. So anyone who uses an antenna will need to rescan to keep watching those 4 channels.
The good news is there are just 3 easy steps to get those channels. Visit WXII12.com/rescan for more details. You can also call us today at area code 336-703-6280 until 6 o'clock with any questions you have about that rescanning process.